Welcome to another Flick and the Bozman show, the first one of the new year, 2021. Happy New Year there, Dave. How are you?
Happy New Year, Flick. If that's for our Rocky Challenger, that must make me the master of disaster.
Given your 1-4 performance in the Beat the Boz contest last week, yes, you're a master of disaster for sure.
Not in a good way.
No, not in a good way. And if you recognize the voice of the person that beat the Boz, that would be Dennis, who has been on before and once again defeated you. How is this possible, Boz?
It's a shocker. It's a stunner.
It's a stun. Now, the stunning part, which I've asked him about the mathematics behind this, and he cited the movie The Hangover and Zach Galifianakis thinking this out, but he came up with a complicated tiebreaker where he picked 47 points for the Monday night game, and that came in at 47 points. Very suspicious, but congratulations, Dennis, and glad to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Much welcome to be back.
What were you thinking with the 47? Just a random number, or did you have a score in mind? Or it probably wasn't 38-9.
I was not thinking 38-9, no. But I did a little research and saw some averages, and I think the average football score this year is 51.9, and I said, yeah, let's go 47.
If that doesn't make perfect sense, I don't know what would. But
there was more behind it, but you know,
I've come up with 5 games to challenge you, and as the winner last week, you get to decide whether you're going to go first in the first game or have the Bozman go first, and that's without knowing what the matchup might be. So, do you want to take it on first or have Dave go first?
I'll take all the pressure on the first one here.
All right, and of course you can pick the same teams if you agree. And the first game is an important one in the AFC, and I thought it would be important enough for the Steelers to play a lot of starters, but I guess it isn't. But it's the 12-3 Steelers at the 10-5 Browns, and Dennis, you can talk about it first.
I think the Steelers are, they're resting some players, but they're out to win no matter what. Cleveland, I think if you look at the playoff scenarios, if they don't win, they're not in. And I think they really want to get in. It's been how many years since they've been in a playoff game?
What they say, 2002 or something along those lines.
I could believe that. So I really think they're going to lay it on the line. But I isn't their coach not going to be on the sidelines because he's got COVID now?
See, I can't even keep up with that for all of these teams. What guys are playing? What guys may have COVID? So, but watching Cleveland last week against the Jets, maybe not having a coach would be a good thing.
Well, that would be incentive enough just to come back and try to win this game. So I think I've really got to go with Cleveland, being that they want to get in the postseason.
So Dennis, the challenger, is going with Cleveland, and we'll see if the Boz agrees or not. What do you think there, Dave?
I am going to go with Cleveland. Mostly, these Week 17 games can be tough for teams that have already, sort of clinched their playoff spot. Are they really playing hard? Are they going to play all their starters the whole game? That kind of thing. And on the other hand, you see teams every year that you say, oh, they need to win to get in, and they lay an egg. So it's hard to just say, oh, Cleveland needs the game more, so they're going to win. But I think in this case, not only do they need it more, the Steelers just don't need it at all. So I am going to go with the Browns in this one.
Now, didn't the Steelers still have a shot for the 2 seed? But I guess being the 2 seed isn't that important.
It's not really, right? I mean, you've got 5 teams here fighting for 4 spots that are all 10-5. So you can tell me which one is the matchup you really want to see in the first round? I don't know. I mean,
I'm more thinking, what if Pittsburgh and Buffalo have to play in the second round. That's what I'm more looking. Why I'd like to be the 2 instead of the 3.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, you want the extra home game, but even in this game where in this year where there's no home crowds, that's not even that big of an advantage anymore either. So
Yeah.
I there was definitely more incentive when there was only 6 teams in each, to make the playoffs from each league.
When
Uh,
2 teams got buys.
exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, then the Steelers, you could say, oh yeah, they definitely want to play one fewer game. Yeah. So I'll go with Cleveland this time.
Okay. So you both agree on the Browns in that game, and I don't know if this is shocking or not. I didn't necessarily mean it to come out this way, but that's the only AFC game I put on the group of 5 this week.
and there's some
I
really
guess.
tough ones.
Well, I guess the other AFC games involve the Colts and would involve the
Titans.
Titans, but they don't play each other. They're both playing other teams, if I'm correct on that, right?
Yeah, they
Yes.
play the bad teams in their division. I think the Colts have the Jaguars, right, and we're the Titans. Yeah, Titans have the Texans.
So there's just taking a quick look at those other games. I thought there was a decent chance if the Browns manage to win this game, like you both said they probably will. I think an 11-5 team may be left out. Um,
There
and
definitely will
that
because Miami's on the edge too. I
right,
think they have to win to get in.
right, and Miami will be playing
They're playing
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, is Buffalo resting a lot of people, or are they going for it?
I think Buffalo's going to go for it because I think they want to go into the playoffs you know, on all cylinders firing, especially if they got a home game where they're going to have fans.
There were a lot of good games in week 16, and I thought the schedule looked pretty weird. But the game that was the most exciting down in the last couple minutes was that Miami and Raiders game was a wild finish with the Raiders trying to take up a little extra time, maybe intentionally not scoring a touchdown. And it turned out that they played defense like the Jets and messed it up anyway.
Yeah, but the thing the Dolphins are going to be missing in that is Fitzpatrick is out. He's got COVID, so he will not be playing. It'll be on Tua to win that game. Uh, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, that was as I was looking at the 5 games I put for the contest, I was thinking, wow, I'd like to have that game on here, but I don't. But we'll move on to the second game, which the Boz will take on first. And that's an important one in the NFC least. And that's the 6-9 Cowboys at the 5-10 Giants. Take it away there, Boz.
I knew you were going to pick this game.
How could I not?
No, and it is. This is an intriguing game, and both of the NFC East games are right. You got the Washington team football against the Eagles as well. But the Cowboys have been playing very, very well of late, at least against the teams that they've been playing. And so, what I mean by that is the best team they've beaten lately is probably the 49ers. They got pasted by the Ravens 4 weeks ago, but they won their last 3. Um, so the Cowboys are certainly playing better, and Dalton has been playing better. I think that I saw before last week's game, he was something like 10 touchdowns against 3 interceptions in his last 3 games, which is I think he was 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown in his first few games. So a little bit of a turnaround for him. He's definitely hitting his stride. So Cowboys are playing well. I think the Giants. The worst thing you could do for the Giants is to win this game and then have Washington win and end up with the worst draft pick and out of the playoffs anyway. Um, but I think the Giants will probably spit the bit here. They usually do. I think I read the other day, yesterday, I guess, that Daniel Jones is lacking mobility, but still going to start. And we saw how well that worked the last time he started when he didn't quite have his legs under him. So I think that's going to be the key in the game. is his inability to move, which is, I think, essential to him to be an effective quarterback. So I'm going to go with Dallas here.
So you're going with Dallas to get to 7-9 and possibly win the division. Division. What do you think there, Dennis?
Uh, if you had asked this game like 5 weeks ago, I would have said the Giants were on track to win the division, and Cowboys are on track to get like a low draft pick. But I agree with the Boz man that the Cowboys have picked it up. Their defense is still not the greatest, but they're holding now. Their offense has definitely improved. The Giants were looking good. I mean, their offense was doing pretty well under either quarterback. I don't know what happened to them, but I got to go with the Cowboys. They're just playing a better game, and I'm sure Jerry Jones has been in the locker room several times pushing these guys.
Does that work?
What's that?
Does that work? Is that a good thing for him to do?
He needs to just go on a permanent vacation and just let people run this team.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely the Cowboys they're trying to win. Depending upon what Washington does, but I think he's lighting a fire under them. So, or maybe he's giving them bonuses if they win. Who knows? But you got to go with the Cowboys on this.
So you're both so far went with the Browns against the Steelers, and you both went with the Cowboys against the Giants. And the winner of this game will have to sit around for a while and wait for the night game. I thought Arizona and the Rams might be the night game, but it turns out it's going to be Washington and the Eagles, and maybe we'll get to that later on. We'll see if that's on the slate of 5 games. But Dennis, you're up first for the next one, and maybe it's the most impressive team in the NFC, and that's the 12-3 Packers. But they'll be traveling to Chicago to take on the 8-7 Bears, who are still very much alive for that 7th playoff spot.
Kind of intriguing. You think the Bears have something to play for. They want to make the playoffs, and they can. I think there's a couple scenarios where even if they lose, they can still make the playoffs. Packers, I just couldn't believe how they dismantled Tennessee. I thought Tennessee would be a lot better than they were the other night. So, I mean, the Packers are definitely playing on all cylinders going into the playoffs.
That cost you the rare 5-0 record against them.
Yes, and I was very disappointed in that. I was actually thinking Packers, but I said, there's got to be an upset, so I was taking Tennessee.
Unfortunately for you, Dennis, I had Tennessee also, so
that's what did you in. You agreed with the Boz.
Hey, but I would never nailed that 47 points if I didn't.
No.
Right.
You came back.
I mean, looking at this game, I think the Bears are just, they're average team, and they've played average all season, up and down. And the Packers are just, I don't care if they even rest some players. I think they're definitely going to beat the Bears.
You're not a Mitch Trubisky fan?
I think no, I think he's been inconsistent his whole career. Maybe you can blame that on receivers and front line, and but I don't think he's been a very good quarterback consistently. So I think you definitely have to go with the Packers on this one.
Now, I don't know all the tiebreakers and scenarios here, but Green Bay wins, they're the 1, correct? So
I think they're the 1 no matter what.
I thought New Orleans could catch them if...
No, there's still 3 teams that can make, even Seattle.
Seattle, okay. But they win, they have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how much do you think we'll see of Rodgers? Depends on the score. Depends. Is he a?
I think if they're blowing him out, yeah, they're going to put him. They're going to put him aside, even though he'll probably want to play. That's in my opinion. I think third quarter they're blowing out the Bears. They'll definitely put him aside.
Well, coach in basketball once told me I was the 2020 guy, and I said, "Is that because of my good vision?" He said, "No, you're only going to get in if we're up 20 or down 20," and that may be what they're telling the Packers backup here.
Thanks.
So Dennis goes with the Packers. What are you going to do here, Boz?
Yeah, I saw. By the way, the backup is the immortal Tim Boyle, I had to look that up.
From where exactly?
Yeah, I just switched off of that.
Yeah, I don't know where Tim Boyle is from.
No, I don't have. I'm getting
Don't have that.
wrong. Tim Boyle from Eastern Kentucky.
Ah, yes.
Kentucky.
I don't
Uh,
even know their nickname.
Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern, yes.
Hilltoppers, not Western Kentucky.
Ah,
I don't know Eastern Kentucky's nickname. I do know Western.
I did not.
There's that basketball team every night. Anyway, uh, I did see the Packers lost their star left tackle, Bakhtiari. Is that how you say his name?
Bakhtiari, yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard of him. I don't know much
for the
about him.
rest of the season. Yeah, which is definitely going to be a big loss for them. Um, but I think Dennis is right. The talent gap is just too big here. The Bears are not good. They've we've talked about this the last few weeks. Like they beat bad and mediocre teams, and the few good teams they've played, they've gotten crushed. Um, so I think that will continue even against a banged up Packer team, and I do think that they will in the NFC. There are three teams that could win that number one seed, so it's going to behoove the Packers to try to get it and see if they can get people healthy in the extra week off.
So you're going with who here?
I am going with the Pack.
Going with the Pack. So far on the first three games, you have agreed on the Browns, the Cowboys, and the Packers, and even used the word behoove. So that's very well done so far. But that means you got to go first for game 4 there, Boz. And it's a team that had a 99% chance of making the playoffs 2 weeks ago when they were playing the Jets, but couldn't come through. And now a team in real big trouble is the Rams, and they host the Cardinals this week. Cardinals at 8-7, and the Rams at 9-6. Take it away, Boz.
Yeah, and you told me who Goff is out with a broken thumb, and you told me who their backup is, and I'm happy to look it up. John Wolford. John Wolford.
Wolford, yes, of course.
I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the one from Old Dominion.
Uh,
No, Wake Forest. I'm sorry, Wake Forest. Is the Redskins backup is sorry, Washington's backup is from Old Dominion. Wake Forest and the American Association of Football, is that?
Yes, the all-time leader in passing yards.
Yes, and touchdowns.
There we go.
So there's that. Um, on the other side, I mean, Arizona maybe without who's their quarterback, whose
Murray.
name? Sorry,
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Exactly, that's what I said. Um, so and it's not like they've been playing great anyway. So I think their game against the Giants a couple weeks ago, notwithstanding, um, I think I'm going to go with the Rams here and the immortal John Wolford. Wolford. Uh, this could be an epic. It's kind of an interesting game with neither quarterback healthy. Um, it'll be interesting to see how things go there, but I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with the Rams.
It's probably the team I like their coach very much, the Rams, and then he throws up some ridiculous plays against the Jets, and then can't come through with a win against Seattle. So I'm starting to question McVay here. But if I'm him in this situation, the guy coming in to play quarterback, he better not be throwing it more than 10, 15 times. I'm seeing a lot of runs, a lot of punts, a lot of wildcats, something.
I will say I have to just amend one quick thing, a late update, if you will. Murray is not on the injured list at all, so it
Okay.
looks like he is going to play. He's not even questionable or doubtful or whatever. So he's not even listed as probable. Like he's not on the list. So I assume he's going to play.
So it looks like Murray's a
But
go, but
I'm
you're
going to
still
I'm
going
going to
with
stay
the
with the
Rams.
Rams because that's how well I pick. So
So officially you got the Rams, Dave.
officially the Rams.
The Rams. All right, Dennis. What are you going to do with this one? Cardinals at Rams.
I think this is a good, definitely toss up. interesting matchup here. I think if the Rams lose, I think they're still in the playoffs no matter what.
No,
Um,
if this is the one where the Bears can mess them up. If the Rams lose, Bears win, then the
Bears are
Cardinals
in.
and Bears get in, and the Rams stay out.
Okay. I really, well, I already picked the pack to win, so I'm thinking the Rams. The Rams are got a good defense. They've been playing pretty well on defense. Without Goff in there, it's very questionable their offense. I'm not sure of the running back, but I don't think he's been lighting it up too much.
No.
Um, so I think the Rams would have to be relying a lot on their defense to keep them in good field position to have a chance to score. With Murray in Arizona, they've been playing decent. I think he has some good offensive potential when he's thinking and been coached well. I really think the Cardinals are pushing to win, so I'm going to go with the Cardinals on this. I think the Rams will just, I just don't see it without Goff in there how they can rely on their defense the whole game to keep them in good field position. And you've seen Murray have some really good games where he can throw the ball down there to his receivers and get some big plays. So I think the Cardinals are going to win this one.
So
Yeah,
the
but John Wolford, Dennis, come on.
Is he lefty or righty, Dave?
Oh, okay.
You don't know yet. I'm quizzing to see if you know anything about him. I know nothing about him, but
Passes to the receiver to him, right, when he's running down the field.
yes. Is he colorblind like Goff was? So we got one game to go. That's the first one you disagreed on, and Dennis will go first on this one. And you knew it was coming, and that's the Washington team of football at 6-9 traveling to Philadelphia to take on the already eliminated Eagles at 4-10-1. Go ahead, Dennis.
I think this could be one of those games where you might have a spoiler because the Eagles are out. What do they care? You got players on the team who are looking to, maybe free agents looking to make a statement so they can get a better contract or a free agent deal. Washington's been playing pretty well. I mean, surprisingly, I thought they were done and the Giants would win, but here we are with Washington one win away from winning the division and making the playoffs, which how long has it been since they've been in the playoffs? So you got to think there's some urgency on their part. Do the Eagles have enough with their new quarterback to play spoiler at home to say, you know what, let's get this, or do they want to make a draft pick?
That's why it's interesting what you said about maybe some of the Eagles are looking for where they'll play or if they'll play next year. And the guy that might apply to the most is Wentz. And I doubt he'll see much time, but who knows what Peterson's thinking or if even Peterson will be back as the coach. But
I saw something that he might even just walk away after the end of this season, for what's been happening. So there's so many questions, and he might want to win just to make it boost the resume a little bit. So I mean, do you go with the spoiler or do you go with the team that wants to really make the playoffs, who's hasn't been there in a while? And I think,
well, fortunately, I do not have to make that choice, but you do. So what are you doing?
my gut says to go with the spoiler, but I think Washington, and I like the coach. I think he'll have them ready. So, and the quarterback, I can't think of his name right now. He's been playing pretty well.
Well, it depends if Alex Smith is able to go or if they have to play Heineke.
Is Smith injured? I know he's had some injuries.
Questionable. He has practiced the last two games. Two games rather, and is expected to play. Well, it looks like he's going to play, I guess, but he's still listed as questionable.
And the Eagles have the last game I was watching against Dallas, they made a good statistic that the Eagles without Fletcher Cox is just their defense has been terrible at pass rush. Getting back there and sacking and just forcing the quarterback. So I think you got to go with Washington on this one.
Well, you talked yourself in and out of both teams, but you now have a
I
W
can't
there.
go for the tie.
You could go with the tie. Eagles already have one, but I got you down as Washington now. So we'll see what the Boz man does with that info. Dennis, the challenger, has gone with Washington. What are you doing there, Boz?
Boy, with your Fletcher Cox actually makes me pause, and I'm looking at the injured list for the Eagles. Duke Riley is on injured reserve. Fletcher Cox is out. Derek Barnett is out. Sean Bradley's on injured reserve. Richard Rodgers out. Deshaun Jackson out. Like, Dallas Goedert out. Miles Sanders out. Jordan Mailata out. Jalen Mills out. Like,
I'm ready, though. I'm ready. Just call me up, coach.
yeah, exactly. Uh, I
Pee
was kind
Wee's
of
coming in.
I like I like how Jalen Hurts has played. I think he's been what their offense needs, but boy, they are literally just riddled with injuries here. Um, and I think if Alex Smith plays, and it looks like he's going to, that's going to be the difference maker. I'm going to go with the Washington team of football um, to win the game and win the division. Uh, I did. Yeah, I thought like Dennis. I thought that the Eagles would want to play spoiler here, and I think they will. They'll give them a good game. That is, they will want to. Not that they will play spoiler. They will want to play spoiler, and they'll give them a good game. But I think in the end, the injuries will prove to be too difficult to overcome for the Eagles.
Yeah, this
And
is one of those things. If you're Washington, you want to give the Eagles no reason to stick around this game. You want to
yep,
jump out to some sort of 10, 14 point lead in the first quarter and just have the Eagles pack it in. And I think they would pack it in, but with the problems at quarterback, maybe it will stay close for a while. So I don't know if I agree with choosing this game to be the late game, but that's what they chose. And certainly, whoever wins the Cowboys Giants game, their fans are going to be tuned in, rooting for the Eagles, oddly enough.
yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about honestly about this Week 17 schedule is that it's all divisional games, right? So many of the games matter um, in some way, shape, or form in the playoff races here. So it's good like that.
And if
The Chiefs
you
Patriots are one of the
if
only ones that doesn't.
if you out there listening want to take your shot to beat the Boz, if you don't think Dennis has done a good enough job with these picks, you can put your picks on Twitter at FlickBoz, all one word. Or you're probably listening to this on YouTube. You could just leave your picks in the comment section, or you could go to our email, which is flickbaz@gmail.com. Get your picks in any of those locations, and they will count toward trying to defeat the Boz. And I'm sure we'll do some sort of playoff show so you could be on that one and pick some intro music and all the benefits that come as being the beat the Boz winner. But just to run down those picks, and you guys, if I got anything wrong, just let me know. But in the Steelers at Browns game, you both went with the Browns. Cowboys at Giants, you agreed again and both went with the Cowboys. Packers at Bears, again, we had agreement, and you both went with the 12-3 Packers, trying to get that number one seed in the NFC. We had disagreement in Cardinals at Rams. Boz went with the Rams, and Dennis, the challenger, went with the Cardinals. And in the final game, Washington at the Eagles, you both have gone with Washington. So only one point of disagreement.
Yeah, no, it's I'm not too confident in my pick of the Rams. Not that I'm confident in anybody. If I agree with Dennis, I can't do too badly. Uh, Now, one thing I just mentioned, Flick, I thought it was interesting, and Dennis, on a quick glance through, and I haven't done this scientifically at all, but I think the Jets, Patriots, and the Raiders, Broncos are the only games on Sunday that shouldn't have any implications at all on a playoff spot. Although Chargers, Chiefs, I think is set too, right? The Chiefs are locked into the one.
Chiefs are locked in. They can't. They're
Yeah.
yeah.
So
There's no
that's
one that can top them.
I think that's three, and I'm not sure about the Falcons and Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers might be locked in at the 4 seed there, at the 5 seed rather.
Do they win their division? I think.
No, they can't. I don't think they
That's
could.
right. They're in with Green Bay. I forget what's in their division. It's been a
So
while.
yeah, I don't know if they're locked into the five, but they may be. They may play that NFC East winner. Um,
Yeah, the Bucks are locked in. They can't win the division, so they are locked in. I'm
okay.
not sure if they finish in the fifth seed instead of the fourth, or the sixth seed
I
instead of
don't
the fifth.
know who could pass them of these teams.
Uh, Possibly the the Rams could, I think, at 10, and if they
At
both finish
10?
10-6.
Okay, maybe because the Rams, I think, beat Tampa Bay at least once. But I made very few predictions. I shouldn't really be making predictions, but I said the Jets would go 3-13, and that may be happening. These were all before the season. I said neither the Patriots nor the Buccaneers would make the playoffs, and I'm 1 for 2 on that one.
All right,
Hey,
not bad.
Not bad. No, I just thought that divorce of Brady and going to Tampa, I didn't think it would work out for either team. But
hey, if
Tampa's
the
fun.
Jets win, then you'll
I
get
got
that three.
I got my 3-13, and we can get some other 360-pound tackle for the other side of the ball, for the other side of the offensive line, and get a new coach, and I'll be happy.
Yeah,
Would I have
that's
been
fine.
happier with Trevor Lawrence? Maybe, but I'm not for tanking. So, uh, but I
Well,
am for some trivia. If you got some there, Boz.
I do. I do. I just want to say real quick on the Jets draft that they're locked in at the 2 pick. They can't get 1 and they can't get 3. Uh, and I think
Unless
you've
we
seen it
trade.
unless they trade, but they will earn the number 2 pick. Uh, and unless I think they've seen enough out of Darnold this year, uh, particularly when he finally got Mims and some of the other weapons on offense, uh, to not use the number 2 pick on another quarterback. So I don't have any problem if they want to trade down with someone who wants that number 2 pick to pick a quarterback. But I think that you roll the dice with Darnold next year. Uh, use that number 2 pick on the best available player. Spend your $80 million of cap space and get a new coach and see if you can't make a playoff team out of that. I think that's a possibility with Darnold already there.
I
So
agree. I agree. And if he gets injured or if he continues to be a sub 500 quarterback, then yeah, you'll be in the high draft pick again. And you don't have the type guys coming out that are coming out this year, but you go to free agency or somebody emerges as a guy you could draft. And yeah, it would stink, but I think it's the right thing to do as well. Try
yeah,
to get some more picks. They have 7 picks in the first 3 rounds this year, I think. Um, just stock up on those. Hope the GM knows what he's doing.
Well,
Um,
there's your first problem right there.
yeah.
The upper
I,
management of the Jets.
well,
Well, the ownership is problematic.
yeah,
Douglas is
the owners are below average. The coach stinks. Is probably the worst in the league, and I don't know enough about the GM, but I'm
But I mean,
hoping he knows what he's doing. I think he might.
you
So
look at the Jets; they've given up so much talent, or just given away talent and traded away that with decent offensive line with Darnold and a good running back, they could probably take some pressure off him and let him do what he's got to do.
yeah.
I don't think he's a really bad quarterback. I think it's more or less he doesn't have a good offensive coordinator and some offensive line to help him.
And they
yeah,
will have 3 of the top 34 picks next year as well. So we're owning the Seahawks number 1 pick, which would usually be a good time to pick, a very good running back in the draft. Late first, you can usually get a good guy for that. So
they have some younger guys in P. Ryan and Taylor, and if one of those works out, I don't think running back's their biggest need, but they need some linebacker help, some defensive line help, another cornerback, and I'm saying a lot of things because 2-13 teams need a lot of help, and they definitely do, but they have some cap space. They hopefully can get a competent coach. So there's obvious places where they can improve, and I think they will improve. This is not the worst I felt as the season's come to an end for the Jets.
Well, winning a few in a row, and I think they may win again this week against the Patriots, who are struggling. So, it's a good way to end the season if you can do it. So, are we ready for trivia time?
No, but we'll do it anyway. If you'd like to email some answers when you hear Dennis and I answer these questions terribly wrong, feel free. But the boss is going to give us 6 trivia questions to attempt, and we will do the best we can with them.
I like that word attempt.
Attempt. Yes. I won't say I have no idea. The less of an idea I have, the more confident I'll sound in my answer.
That
I
is,
did do pretty good last time I did trivia. I had what, maybe 1, 2 answers?
yeah.
That's strong, but we'll see what sports he goes with here. It's up to the boss. So
Well, I happened to see a nice article on some weird baseball stats from this past season, so
uh,
that's the majority of it.
uh,
There's a little college football and a little hockey, so should be
hockey.
Oh,
Okay.
I have a little potential right there. So
I,
all right.
I thought these were going to be real sports. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Uh, First question: what major league player set a record with his ninth straight top five MVP finish in 2020?
This is what I wasn't listening to the sport. Top five.
Major League Baseball, top five, nine straight top five finishes.
I only have one name in mind, so I would say Trout.
All right.
Dennis, you have a different guess for that?
truthfully, I don't watch a lot of baseball and follow it. So I have heard the name Trout. So I mean, I know he's up there, but
Well, I doubt it would be a pitcher 9 times in a row.
no,
The only thing that worries me about Trout, he's not on a very good team.
he's on the Angels, right?
Yeah,
At least I knew that.
All right.
yeah. Let's go with Trout.
Okay. Uh, Question number two: what AL Central team set a major league record this season by going undefeated against left-handed starters in 2020? They went 14-0.
14-0 against left-handed starters. It's hard enough for me
14
to
ever
name an
go
AL Central
undefeated.
team. Trying to think who was decent out of the Central. I I'm stuck on the White Sox for some reason, so I'm gonna say the White Sox, but I'll admit to the listeners I do not know for sure and do not even feel great about that guess. But I'll go with the White Sox. What do you think, Dennis?
What was that? AL Central.
AL
AL.
Central.
All right. I'm just looking at the teams because I wasn't sure who was.
I was going to give it to you. That's all right. I usually struggle to think of all five off the top of my head.
You got the
Uh,
Royals, right? You got the Cleveland team of baseball. You got
Yeah.
so we got White Sox.
Detroit, and of course Minnesota.
Yeah. And you said Chicago.
And I said
Yes.
Chicago. I'm wondering about Minnesota. They do
I-
weird
You
things
know what?
like
I'm
playing
gonna
a
take
dome and
Kansas.
beat
I'm gonna
lefties.
take Kansas City.
You're gonna go with Kansas City. So I'm
Yeah.
going with the Chicago White Sox, and you're going with the Kansas City Royals. Fair
Okay.
enough.
Pitching for those Cleveland baseball players, Shane Bieber struck out at least 8 batters in each of his 12 starts this year.
Yeah, reduced schedule. Okay.
What pitcher? What pitcher's record did he tie for consecutive starts to end the season with 8 strikeouts or more? That was done in 1997.
1997.
1997.
It doesn't have to be a Cleveland pitcher, just any pitcher.
It does not have to be a Cleveland pitcher. It
Was
is
it
not.
a Cleveland
It is
pitcher?
not a Cleveland pitcher.
Okay. Yeah, see, I got that out of him. That's good. 1997. Pitching. Good boy.
Finished the season with 12 straight starts, striking out at least 8 batters.
Good boy. Was he a Met?
At some point or in that year?
If you're going to narrow that down, at some point. Was he ever a Met?
He was a Met at one point in his career.
Oh, he was a Met at some point. I got an idea, Dennis. Do you have a hunch of an idea here, or just
I will follow your lead on this one.
given given how kind Boz was to answer my ridiculous question, I'm going to say Pedro Martinez.
Dennis, you good with that?
He's not laughing.
I'm
He's not laughing at me. That's a good sign.
no, I'm gonna go with him because I trust his judgment.
Okay.
Before he answered, if he had said no to that, I was going to go with Greg Maddux. But Greg Maddux, not the biggest strikeout guy. Now I'm going with Pedro.
Okay. All right. Last baseball question. Question number
Thank
4.
goodness. What? I mean, go ahead.
Mookie Betts became the second player ever.
I almost mentioned him in question 1, but Mookie Betts, yes.
Became the second player ever to hit a home run in 2 different World Series clinching games, each for a different team. So the second player to hit a home run in the last game of the World Series for 2 different teams. Who was the first player who did it in the 1970s for 2 different teams? A home run in the clinching game of 2 different World Series for 2 different teams. A player from the 70s.
Player from the 70s.
That is, both his World Series home runs were in the 70s. Or at least these particular 2.
So, Yankees certainly played a lot of World Series in the 70s.
Dodgers.
Dodgers got be involved toward the end. Cardinals. I'm just naming teams randomly. Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of these random home run World Series ridiculous questions. And if you saw a question about this guy, you may ask it because I know he has some ties to the Mets as well. And I'm going with my first instinct here, but I feel even less confident about this than I did about any of the first 3, and that's not very. I'm going with Tim McCarver.
Tim McCarver.
He's laughing a little, Dennis. I don't know.
Interesting.
Interesting. He threw in an interesting. That scares me more.
Not a big home run hitter, but he did
No.
World Series.
You got an idea, Dennis?
I'm clueless, truthfully, because
All right.
baseball is not my strong point.
Yeah, it's got to be a guy. Oh, I got another guess that I'll give to you, Dennis, and you can put that as your guess, and then.
Well, I'll gladly listen.
I mean, Reggie Jackson bounced around some. He's a guess at least, but probably not a very good one.
Well, and truthfully, it did come through my mind.
I did eat some Reggie candy bars around the 70s. I may have.
I was trying to think of the guy from the Cincinnati Reds, but I don't know if they were in the World Series.
Oh, sure they were. The big red machine. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name.
Johnny Bench, but he just played with the Reds, right?
That's what I thought, but I'm not a big baseball.
I think you may be onto something with the Reds here. We've given the listeners as much help as we possibly can, so maybe maybe one of our loyal listeners will email us with an answer to that one. But that's a good question. I don't have it handy.
All right.
Were we anywhere close?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it.
Going on to college football.
Oh boy.
Which of these teams did not finish the regular season this year undefeated? Which of these teams I'm about to tell you
did not
finish the regular season undefeated, not counting their bowl game, which may be played for some of these teams after we even broadcast this.
Okay.
Alabama
definitely undefeated.
Ohio State
definitely undefeated. Didn't play a lot of games, but definitely undefeated.
Coastal Carolina
Oh boy.
Cincinnati,
Definitely undefeated. May have
or
choked today, but definitely undefeated.
San Jose State.
And who?
San Jose State.
San Jose State. Oh boy. Coastal Carolina.
Coastal.
Who beat BYU?
I can probably look that up for you.
BYU was undefeated for a long time and then lost to like a Cincinnati or like a Coastal Carolina.
So the question is, which of these two teams are not undefeated
And
anymore?
just one of them was not undefeated.
Did not go undefeated.
Just one of them didn't go
Just one of
undefeated.
them. Alabama definitely did. So did Ohio State. So I was hoping he'd throw Clemson in there because Clemson didn't. But
BYU lost to Coastal Carolina.
what team did not go undefeated?
What was the
Coastal
last team?
Carolina Chanticleers.
The last team was San Jose State.
I'm going to go with them. I don't know much about college football, but this seems like a very like a team that you just randomly. I shouldn't say randomly, but it just hits me for some reason without looking it up.
That hits you. He's
Yeah.
trying to sound cool and hip with that.
That's yeah.
Coastal Carolina.
What
Just to
division
be
is
different,
that?
I think Dennis may have it here, but I'll go with Coastal Carolina just to be a pain in the ass.
All right.
San Jose State for Dennis, and I'm writing down. Why I write these things down? They go in the official record, the archives.
And okay, last but not least, we go to the NHL.
Oh boy,
Active NHL coach and 3-time Stanley Cup champion as a coach is closing in on becoming just the second coach in NHL history with 1,000 career wins.
He's won 3 Stanley Cups as a player.
As a coach.
As a coach.
3 as a
player.
I don't know him as a player. I really don't know him at all, to be honest with you. But there you go.
Dennis is doing an awesome job stalling, like I would.
Yes, well done.
All right. So he's won 3 Stanley Cups as a coach. And he's on. What was the end of the question?
He is about to. He will soon, probably next year, not this year, become the second coach in NHL history with 1,000 career wins. He was a center with the New Jersey Devils.
What?
Among other teams.
Center with the Devils. I was
I
going to
would not ever guess that, but that's what it says on his bio.
Well, who?
I got the wrong guy. It's this guy with the same last name. Sorry.
Who has a lot of wins as an NHL coach, Dennis? I'm thinking the guy
Trotz
who
has a lot of wins.
Who
but
does?
He's
I'm sorry.
Barry.
Trotz.
Yeah.
I was thinking, who's the Detroit
but
guy?
He's only got 1 Stanley Cup under his ring or his.
How many does Bowman have? I'm thinking Scotty Bowman.
Bowman, I think, has 6.
Oh, that would be too many.
But he's not. He was a GM, but I think he's retired now. As coach, I'm trying to think of.
I will have to back it up. He did actually play 1 season with the Devils, but many years ago.
I'm trying to think of the teams and their coaches right now because I haven't really watched in last year because I just didn't with this whole COVID thing. I wasn't interested.
I'm trying to but he also spent 8 years with the Hartford Whalers.
Hartford Whalers
as a player.
3. Well, the Flyers have a guy, but I don't think he's only got 2 rings.
Who was the guy who said, "Go eat another donut"? I like him.
Not for Pittsburgh.
No, I'm going with Barry Melrose just because I thought of his name. I don't even think he's an active coach, but so
No,
what?
he's
I
TV
like.
commentator.
So what? I'm going with him. That's my guess, and I'm sticking with it. Final answer. Wait, that's it. We don't have that copyrighted. Final answer.
No. I if I look down a list of coaches, I would probably be able to pick the
You're
guy
supposed
out,
to
and I
be
don't
our
have
coach.
him.
You're supposed to be our hockey expert.
I
At least
take
what
one
you
season off, and this is the problem.
say. Ah.
And like I said, if I saw a list of coaches, I could probably pick the guy out because I know most of their records. And I can't. I'm trying to think. Not Montreal.
You can call time anytime here, Dave.
Yeah,
I'm,
I'm gonna call time, but I know who. Like I said, if I saw the list, I could pick them out. I just can't think of the coach right now.
all right. I will give you. I will give you 5 active coaches.
I will shut up because I
In-
guessed already.
All right. Claude Julien, Joel Quenneville, Barry Trotz, Mike Babcock, and Paul Maurice.
Paul Maurice has won. I think actually he has won 3 because he won with the Hurricanes. What the heck's the other team he won with? I think
Was he
I'm
ever
gonna
with
go with.
Hurt?
I'm gonna go with Paul Maurice. I mean, I know Claude Giroux. Not Claude Giroux. Claude. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna call Paul Maurice because I think he has won 3 with 3 different
Paul
teams.
Maurice. I am writing this. I am writing this down, and I'm fairly confident we did not go 6 for 6. But if you think you,
Quinville has won 2 with
yeah, Quenville was at least
Chicago. He's
Quenville
with
didn't
Florida
strike
now.
me as one of his choices. I heard that name, and I went, "Oh, that guy sounds familiar."
Yeah,
Yeah,
he won 2 with Chicago, but I think he's in
Chicago.
Florida now.
Okay. Well, Florida wins every now and then.
Nah, they haven't won since like their second season or third.
Well, once again, if you're trying the Beat the Boz contest or you're trying any of this trivia, you can get those into us at FlickBoz on Twitter, or if you're listening on YouTube, just leave a comment. And if you are listening on YouTube, we'd love for you to be a subscriber. And each time we come out with a new episode, you will know it. Or you could do it on email, flickboz@gmail.com, and we will be back sometime next week to preview the playoffs a bit and maybe even get into some Met free agency. If they get off their butts and sign someone in the next few days, we'll talk about it. But other than that, Dennis, thanks for coming on and kicking the Boz's butt last week, and hopefully we hear from you again. If especially if your pick of the Cardinals over the Rams comes in, you may have it.
Well, thank you for having me back, and I'm looking for the overall win record this year. So
I have all the records. I would have to do a lot of addition, but I can do it.
And you get an extra point for 47 as well.
Yes, definitely.
Tiebreaker,
And
at least.
Dave, thanks for doing it this week, and thanks for writing the trivia, and have a great 2021. Enjoy the games this week.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Dennis.
thank you.